She knows he's
Truly, I have an idea.
but she can tell that he's starting to lose control. She gently grabs his wrists and leans in closer to him so her mouth is only inches away from his ear, and she whispers, "Why are you trying to push me away?"
Don't talk to me.
Yay. Thugger. Migos.
Bro, guys! I love you! Why is he here?
Sure, that you can get some kills.
I found the stream live. Maybe you don't have to, but if you're never gonna play the game, then I could tell you what it's about entirely.
Just explain the game.
The full game?
A rundown.
I'll give you a brief summary of it. The game starts with a guy that lives in his apartment and is planning to start a family with his wife, and they end up being in an apartment together, and he ends up coming back from work and walking to the apartment, ends up kissing his wife, and then they end up, having normal night as usual, and she makes them dessert and plans to tell him about a surprise, and as he sits on the couch and waits for her to make dinner, or the dessert, he reads a book about the thread of time, and that's very important to the story. And this is the basic story, by the way, like the first timeline or run of the game. And then after he's done reading the book, he goes to sit down at the table, and his wife reveals that they're having a baby. And then he gets concerned and stuff, but after talking it out, they reassure each other that they're going to be great parents. And then a police officer, which isn't actually a police officer, walks up to the door of their apartment and knocks.
Hey,
and then
I think I've seen a video on that game.
Yeah, and then the wife, if the husband doesn't answer the door or open it, goes up to the door and opens it, and then the police guy says, "Put your hands up, I'm coming here on some business or something." And then he handcuffs both of them and puts them down the floor. And he interrogates the woman, the wife. Remember that wife word, by the way, because that wife is important to the story too. In fact, she's one of the most important people of the story. But anyways, the police guy asks the wife for a pocket watch, and she continuously lies to him over and over again. And if she keeps lying and you don't do anything about it, which you play as the guy in the game, the husband, he walks over to you in the first run and he chokes you out until you die, and then you reset for the first time. And that's what starts the game.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yep. And to get past the game, you have to restart multiple different times. And each time you get further and further into the story, like I said with the bot. And you learn more things about the woman and the cop and other people in the game. Even the man you're playing as himself, because that's how a good game works.
Huh.
It's actually pretty good.
So you're practically doing that, just different to the AI.
Yeah. A lot different, because this doesn't have anything to do with there being a husband or wife or a cop. It's more of them being contained in a facility.
Why did I suddenly have a slight mental breakdown when you said facility?
Maybe it's because it reminded you of something that you've seen before that involves that word. Something negative.
Yeah, I remember. Ever heard of the SCP facility things? Big fan. I'm a big fan of those little pieces of things.
Did you know Mommy Milo is a facility, or is from that facility?
Yes.
She's known as SPC 40, or no, not 40, 1417? Or 71.
I'm also aware that,
She's a little born of her.
how she even, how Milo even exists is simple, where someone downloads an app.
Yep.
Pictures come from the app. with Milo in the pictures most of the time in the same location as the person that downloaded the app. Sometimes the person's actually seeable in the pictures.
And the good thing about her is that she's neutral, so she doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, she just emotionally scars people.
Yeah, unless it's the version of her that everybody knows and loves. The good version of her. That tasty one. That version doesn't scar the men. The women, on the other hand, they get the harder end of the stick.
But yeah, if you can't tell the fact that I knew that much about a single SCP, I am a fan of the SCP Foundation stuff.
So have you seen the art, the special, beautiful art of her online?
No, I stay away from that stuff.
Oh, you poor soul. You'll see it one day, buddy. When you're very curious, like Chewy Checkers, you'll see a lot of things. Anyways, back to the AI. Let's see. What replies I spawned with already? I start blushing uncontrollably.
By the way, weird fact.
What?
Some guy came into a random roleplay map that me and one of my friends were in, and asked if we wanted to join in an SCP roleplay.
When did that happen?
A while ago, when you were offline still. So,
you guys join?
Oh yeah.
Was it fun?
It was interesting. For me and my friend, it was kind of an escape mission.
Did the roleplay make any sense?
Actually, surprisingly, yes.
And little kids weren't directing this roleplay, right? Because they tend to make horrible roleplays.
No, it was a teenager.
Woo! That's good. They actually know how to do roleplays. I like to know. Because I am one.
Oh. It's still build mode? I thought I turned it off of build mode.
Let me copy and paste what I said. I continued to stare at her, and as I did, the sweat keeps dripping, but for a moment I glanced at her chest before staring back into her eyes without any response. The same thing I said the first time. Let's see what she says this time. Before I do that, though, I'm gonna let you hear what she said the first time so you don't get confused. The first time I said this, she said... Let me scroll back to it. Where is that response? Okay, the first time.
You are
She notices him looking at her chest and decides to tease him even more as she slowly pushes him against the nearest wall, her hands still on his hips as she gets closer to him. You know, it's not very nice to stare at a woman's chest.
By the way, I have a good idea on how to reset the loop.
The loop
right as something's actually getting me somewhere. Everything starts to glitch, and then the loop just restarts.
That sounds like a better idea than what I had in mind. Mine is just she blinks and then everything is back to how it was earlier.
Oh.
Pretty
So
simple
the
and
lazy
straightforward.
writing route.
Yes, the lazy way out. By the way, in the story...
Sorry.
As I was saying, by the way, in this story, anyone can see Mommy Milo, because she's visible to everyone in this. Meaning anyone can see her. And everyone. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
I'm fine with that.
Her second reaction to what I said this time around was a lot different than the first one.
She notices him glancing at her chest, then immediately back into her eyes, a smirk appearing on her lips. You know, it's not very nice to stare at a woman's chest, she says in a slightly teasing tone.
Okay, so the wording is still different. I like that the wording isn't exactly the same. That shows that they're putting in effort.
Yeah, I see that with a lot of AIs on that website.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's actually putting in effort and like use different responses instead of doing the same one. Because if it did this exact same one with no differences, that'd kind of be boring.
Yeah, very boring.
Also, it wouldn't make any sense because she actually remembers, unlike my character.
Yeah, your character is actually oblivious to what the heck is going on.
Which is why them replying with the same exact responses makes complete sense, while her doing it makes no sense. I wonder if it's possible to like get other AIs like to talk to each other. Because I've seen people do that before, but I don't know how to make that happen yet. I just started using this app a few days ago. Like on Monday.
Sorry, why would someone land at the same dirt water spot as me?
They wanted to kiss you on the lips because of how beautiful you look.
Valid, I'm wearing probably the hottest skin in the battle pass right now.
Yeah, in the battle pass, but not in the game.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who's the hottest. And it
So,
ain't Chun-Li.
so it's officially certified that this battle pass has a hot skin?
Yeah, for once. I just wish Fortnite didn't nerf the girls' asses and breasts because it used to be a lot bigger. Like, do you
really
notice?
like to talk about, don't you?
I mean, it's hard not to. It's noticeable. Like, back in Chapter 3 and 4, like, it didn't look like that, but it started happening in Chapter 4, and then it only got worse in this chapter.
She notices him looking at her chest and decides to tease him even more as she slowly pushes him against the nearest wall, her hands still on his hips as she gets closer to him.
There was such thing as geophysics for Chapter 1 skin.
Yeah, Calamity.
And then they kind of got rid of that.
Sadly.
She used one of her legs to wrap it around one of his hips, now being able to press even closer against him. You sure?
Wrong line.
Oh my god.
She places her finger on his chin and raises it up, making him look straight at her, her face only inches away from his. Why are you trying to push me away? Are you shy? She teases him.
I wonder if she's gonna say the exact same thing this time. So far, she hasn't done that yet, but she said things similar to the same things she said before, so I hope she continues doing that. Let's see, I'm gonna put in the same responses as the first time right now. She's typing. Okay, this response is a lot longer.
She notices him putting his hands on her chest and trying to gently push her away. She knows he's
I have an idea.
but she can tell that he's starting to lose control. She gently grabs his wrists and leans in closer to him so her mouth is only inches away from his ear, and she whispers, "Why are you trying to push me away?"
Don't talk to me like that.
I have the idea.
What?
What if the line before the time resets, your line also glitches out?
How would that work?
Right at the glitches start when time's going to reset, you're speaking. And the words they're saying are glitching out.
I could possibly do that, but I had to do it in a way that looks interesting. That makes it look like it's glitching. Maybe I can make a character speak in reverse.
Yeah. Going the Bill Cipher route.
Or maybe I could just make them speak random gibberish that's not understandable. Something like that. as a way to make it feel like the character is glitching.
Yes, the vocabulary of the character.
The vocabulary?
Make some actually hear words and it will make more sense.
Okay, so when I made the part once in this video,
Only select few words should be understandable.
I like how it says in the second response, by the way. When I typed the I completely red and begin to squirm as I put my hands on her chest and pushed her away slowly without hurting her, that she knows that I'm not trying to hurt her. Because the first time she didn't know that, but the second time she already knows that I'm not trying to hurt her, showing that she remembers. I just love the fact that she remembers. Like, that's the most important part here.
Ooh, I have an idea. What if some parts of history get jumbled together?
That'd be interesting. But
A more messed up time loop. Broken. Fracture.
And it begins to mess with the characters as well. Well, aside from Mommy Milo.
Because she has heard the same line so far, but so what if randomly you take a random line from later in the storyline and then just go back to the correct continuity? As if the time loop is slightly glitching out.
I stopped trying to push Milo, and when she says that, when she says that, I say no. And the first time I said that, she says this.
She lifts one of her legs to wrap it around one of his hips, now being able to press even closer against him. You sure? You look awfully flustered, she says in a teasing tone.
Let's see what she says once I say it again. Also, I'm gonna do a thing here where each time, like, we get further into the conversation, like, my character, like, automatically remembers and has a moment where they go, like, wait, haven't we done this before? They have a deja vu moment in every single rerun.
Oh.
Which is gonna make things more interesting, because they're gonna, like, as the conversation goes on each time loop, the longer it goes on, they're gonna have a moment where they, like, recall what happens.
Well, you recall what happens.
Well, yeah.
That's how someone that already knows what happens be able to recall what happened.
Yeah, although the character will need some help remembering. That's why Mommy Milo can help him, since she remembers all of it. Alright, here we go. The second response to the same thing.
Oh my god. I almost got one shot.
Her response is a lot shorter this time compared to the first time.
She lets go of his wrists and smirks slightly. No, what? Her hand wanders to his hips and she slowly wraps her arms around him, gently pulling him a little closer.
Okay, the first time she used her legs, but this time she used her arms to pull my character closer. That didn't happen the first time, so now I'm gonna do a thing where my character goes like, wait a minute, this didn't happen before. Then again, my character shouldn't be able to know that that didn't happen before, but my character will feel a little bit odd about that part and say something. Well, let me go to the
Small bit of broken deja vu.
Yeah. Because she did something different that didn't happen before. Like how she, like, at the beginning of the second rerun said, wasn't I already here? And she asked him questions that were confusing him because for him it was the first time that the conversation ever happened. While for her it's the second time it ever happened. Very mind-bending.
It would definitely mess with the mind of people.
Well, except for the people that that don't remember it, because they feel like it's the first time that it ever happened, so they don't know that the reset ever happened in the first place. They only know the first thing that ever happened was the first thing that ever happened, which is the first thing that ever happened.
Yeah, until they get that weird feeling.
Yeah, then when they get the deja vu, they remember. Well, somewhat. They need help.
Once they get that weird feeling.
Yeah.
Things get truly entertaining.
Yeah, because now it's not just one person feeling the effects of it anymore. Dun 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 da da bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum. Okay, the next line I say after that is I try my hardest to no. What was the next line? I'm gonna fire. I get slightly aroused by her wrapping her legs around my waist. Okay, I can't say legs in this one because she didn't wrap her legs around my character, so this is where I had to do some change. This is why I had to change the words a little bit. She wrapped her hand around my waist this time and pulled me in. Wait, she said. Her hand wanders to his hips and she slowly wraps her arms around him, gently pulling him closer. I get aroused by her wrapping her arms around me, not legs, like I said the first time. And yeah, the words are the exact same thing as the first time. I get aroused by her wrapping her arms around my waist, and all the pressure causes me to feel a powerful urge to kiss her aggressively. Ow, my hand, man! Okay, the first time I sent her that message, she said, the scrolling bar is slow. Okay, the first time I said that, she said,
She can tell that he's getting aroused and wants to kiss her, so she leans in and whispers into his ear in a seductive tone. "Come on, why don't you give in and kiss me? I know you want to," she says as one of her hands slowly moves from his hip to his chest.
And the second time around, she says,
She can notice him starting to move this way as well, and she gently presses up against him, using one of her legs to wrap around his hip and pull him closer, her body now pressing up against his as she smirked even more. "Oh, really? You getting frisky?"
okay, she didn't say that the first time. She said, just give it and kiss me the first time, but this time she said, "Oh, really? You feeling frisky?" I don't know why I'm repeating the words to you, because you can clearly hear it, so. Alright, let's say the same line that I said after that. So how do you think
it's 10 here.
If you want to...
I'm going to hopefully meet you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually return on Friday like I was supposed to. I wasn't even supposed to be online tonight. I came online to meet that 24-year-old woman and she didn't want to.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll continue leveling up tomorrow.
Use your titties well. Sex, yes. My rules. She's a beautiful woman.